What's up, everybody? You're back in here, Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, you've got Coach, you've got Austin. We're hanging out with you guys today. Houston Texans record prediction. Subscribe down below. Help us help you. Every 500 subscribers, we're giving away jerseys out here. All right, guys. Texans, clearly the best team in this division. Coach, you've said multiple times throughout these episodes you think the Texans are just going to straight sweep their division. So you're looking at an easy just 6 wins right there off the top. Yep. We're going to really dive into this section by section here. So looking into it, just kind of what the Texans have added throughout this offseason. In the draft, they added Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel at wide receiver. Love both of those pickup for them. I wish they would have done more along the offensive line, and I think that's going to end up being their Achilles heel here. They brought in Laken Tomlinson at offensive guard, but you lost an all-pro in Laramie Tunsil. They brought in C.J. Gardner-Johnson to help be the versatile DB that they were looking for back then, just a little chess piece. Christian Kirk also came over at wide receiver, which begs the question, what's Tank Dell's recovery looking like? Braxton Berrios also came in as a most likely their return man for that Tank Dell role.
Yep.
So overall, I think they actually ended up the loss of Laramie Tunsil, I think, is the one that's just going to be glaring throughout the season because their offensive line wasn't the greatest last year anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost your best guy.
Now they did take this guy from the in the second round. His name is Ariante Ursary. They took him from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yep. So like that should help some, but like agreed. The only thing I didn't like was that they took both of the Iowa State wide receivers instead of just taking Jaden, and then like Joel, I guess if you don't believe in Tank Dell as much because he's now kind of fucked you on 2 seasons, makes sense. But I would have really, really, really rathered have just Jaden Higgins and Nico Collins and then keep Christian Kirk, Justin Watson, Mechie the third. Like they do have some other guys there. I didn't think they needed to draft like 2 wide receivers early in the draft.
Nope. So let's go ahead and dive right into it here. Starting off week 1, they're on the road at Los Angeles. Week 2, they've got Monday Night Football at home versus Tampa Bay. Week 3, they're on the road versus Jacksonville. Week 4, they're at home versus the Tennessee Titans. I've got them going 2-2 in that stretch.
Heard. Drop the first 2 games and then win Jacksonville,
that's what I've got.
Tennessee.
That's what I've got. Because I think the Rams, yes, they lost Cooper Kupp, but you bring in Devontae Adams, who, for all purposes, is better. Like, Kupp was awesome for that offense. He won the Triple Crown, but, I mean, Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Puka Nacua is still on the come-up. You still got Matthew Stafford there. That defense, those young pieces that they got last year are just going to get better for them. I like the Rams taking week 1. Week 2, yes, they're at home, but to me, Houston at home just doesn't scream like home field advantage as much as it should for me.
It's also in the lights game, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and so to me, that's where, I don't know, that's kind of like, to me, like the bake show is just waiting to come out, and I like just Tampa Bay's overall team better, especially when it comes to Tampa Bay's defense versus that offensive line. That's going to be a reoccurring theme for the losses that I have with this team. So, Austin, what do you think they do in the first 4?
Depends on what the spread's looking like. I think they could beat Tampa Bay, So I would give them 3-1 if they could beat Tampa.
3-1?
I think they could squeak by Tampa.
The one that I was bouncing between was Tampa. But I still think that they're the better team, and it's home. That's for me. For me, I think just Tampa Bay is the better team. It's in the lights, like Justin said. The Bake Show, Bucky Irving, Michael Evans, Chris Godwin's going to be healthy. Just like in general, that team.
Your boy. Muka Ekubaka.
I don't know if he'll even be.
Emeka Ibuka.
I don't know
That's
if
it.
he'll be getting starting reps that early, just because of how good Trey Palmer looked last year at the end of the year.
And oh man, why is it slipping for me? The guy from Washington, not Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan.
McMillan, yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
he
boys
started coming on there
y'all boys
too.
are tricked. Emeka Ibuka gonna come in
Oh
and
no, I
slice and dice
think by
that
week
team.
6 he's going to be getting a good target share. I think
Mm-hmm.
that week 2 it's hard to call for that just out of camp. He's still learning the playbook, getting up to the speed.
He's too explosive not to put the ball in his hands and
Yeah,
let him
I
work
mean, it
with
took 2 seasons for Jackson Smith and Jigba to be able to like actually get some starting work, and he was dealing with Tyler
Because of the
Lockett
two guys he was
and
behind.
DK
Yeah,
Metcalf.
I think
and
it's
they're
a
both
lot of the
worse.
same.
They're both worse
Yeah,
than the other two guys.
I think it's a lot of the same right there.
Now I will say Emeka Ibuka is a different type of receiver than Jackson Smith. Like Jackson Smith's a route tree
True,
like
but when you've got
specialist.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and then two guys that were with the system last year, and Trey Palmer's been there for a couple years now, like you're just naturally like starting out fifth on the totem pole.
And Bucky Irving and Rashard White. Like, there's just
Yeah, there's a
such
lot
a
of
good
mouths
offensive
to feed
already
right
there.
now.
I think
No,
he's
Emeka
their
Ibuka
future.
was absolutely a pick for when Evans and Godwin are gone.
Yep.
Like
And
that
so
was
smart.
absolutely that.
Genius.
So next 4 games they're going on the road versus Baltimore. Then they have their bye week. Then they're at Seattle, at home versus San Fran, and at home versus Denver. I've got them going 2-2 in that stretch as well.
Again,
I have them
agreed.
losing to Baltimore on the road, and I have them losing to Seattle on the road.
Really? I have them losing to Denver. I think that they can beat Seattle. It's another Monday Night Football game, right?
Seattle is it's the one of the double headers there.
Yep.
So I think that they can beat Seattle because I think that their team is better than Seattle right now.
That 12th man comes alive at prime time though.
I hear that.
Like they really do, and especially you're looking at 10 p.m. on the West Coast. So 10 p.m. Pacific, or it is listed at
Off
Eastern
of a bye
time.
week, though. So
Yes,
plenty of time to get ready for that.
I'll give you that, but yeah, for me, I'm giving the edge to Seattle there, and also that's one of those that just kind of screams like the type of games that the Texans have lost like the last few years. Like you should win, but you won't. And then the Denver game for me is one of those to where it's like, yeah, a lot of people are going to pick Denver to beat you, but you're at home, so I'm giving you the edge in that one. So that's how I looked at that.
I just think Sean Payton really got his running back now. He's not going to be this like running back by committee. Last year at this point, they were still trying to make Javonte Williams work. And I think that like their offense as a whole is finally going to be a locked in offense like at the rip of the season. So I expect a lot of good things from Denver as well. Their defense improved quite a bit. So
Yep. What about you, Austin?
I think Denver is the only one that beats them in that stretch.
You don't think
They go
Baltimore is
3-1
going to beat them
again.
in Baltimore?
Oh no, yeah, 2-2.
Okay.
What I have them as.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle
Okay.
and San Fran, they're taking.
That's right.
If it was in Houston, I might have maybe, but Baltimore.
It's gonna be a
winning
good
that game in
one.
Baltimore. Yeah, I agree. I'm psyched for that game. I hope it's not like a 1 o'clock. That it's like a 4.
Or at home versus Jacksonville. At home versus Jacksonville. On the road versus Tennessee. At home versus Buffalo. On the road versus Indy. I've got them going 3-1 in that stretch, with their only loss being versus the Bills.
Yep.
Easy enough.
We're all in lockstep there. I mean, like you said, just looking
Josh
at them most likely having the ability to sweep the division. You've got Jacksonville at home. On the road versus Tennessee. That's not really scaring you. Buffalo, that's a Thursday night game, so they're going on a short week. And so, yes, you're on a short week at home, but I don't know, man. It's still the Bills, Josh Allen. That it's not going to be an easy any kind of game for you there. And then on the road versus Indy. So finish it up with the final 5. on the road versus Kansas City, at home versus Arizona, at home versus Vegas Raiders, on the road versus the Chargers, at home versus Indy. I've got them going 3-2 in that stretch. I have them losing to Kansas City, and I have them losing to the Chargers.
Agreed.
Agreed.
And my prediction from last video is now already coming true because of us disagreeing on Denver and Seattle. We have the same record, but like we just didn't pick all the same games.
Yep. So we've got them going 10-7. They're going to win the division. Now, if the vote gets passed for the new seeding in the playoffs, they might not necessarily have the 4 seed, but yeah, you could be looking at the 5th or the 6th seed just because of how competitive the AFC can be.
Yeah.
Now, Indy could be winning that game because they could be sitting their starters.
Well, no, that's what we're saying. So, Austin, we discussed it a little bit in pre-show after one of the episodes. There's a vote going right now that if you win, then if you win the division, you make the playoffs, but you're not guaranteed a top 4 seed. That the seed will be based off of record. So if you win your division, but you're the 6th best record, then you're the 6th seed. So like every game will now count unless you are the 1 seed.
And that's where teams like the Colts, to where, yes, they might not have anything necessarily to play for, but now it gives them something as another reason to play spoiler. Yeah. Because if the Texans are out here, okay, we want to fight for the 3 seed, but if we lose, we could end up with the 6th seed. Then the Colts are like, all right, hey, let's try to get that done. So I hope that vote does go through because it'll make the end of the season so much more meaningful. So I've got them going 10-7. Coach has them 10-7. Austin, what'd you have them at?
Would be 12-5.
You had them at 12-5. So Austin's high on the Texans this year, and I very well could see them going 12-5. Like to me, I just don't have that much faith in their offensive line. Like that's what it comes down to for me. But they're lucky enough to be playing in an absolute garbage can of a division. So, you know, in that retrospect, you're just the prettiest girl at the ball, and we're just gonna pick you to dance with anyways.
I mean, they're basically 3 toughest games: Baltimore, the Chargers, and Kansas City.
The Chiefs, yeah.
Like that's not that tough of a schedule. To be honest.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Buffalo's definitely
Buffalo.
No, I didn't.
Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Denver. The Chargers, Denver. So yeah, I mean, it's not the hardest, but again, when your division is crap, then you're looking at 6 games right there that you should be looking at as victories. Yep. So where can we find the other 4 to 5 games in our schedule to win? So
they should just be thankful.
I like what they can do,
Green
guys.
Bay or the Lions, or
they have a lot of teams they don't have to face.
No, their schedule. I haven't looked at like where they're at on the strength of schedule list, but I don't suspect that they're high on the list of like toughest schedules. Like I looking at it here, I don't see that. But hey, if y'all are still here with us, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Subscribe down below so we can help you get jerseys. Everybody likes free shit. TulsiRoseTea.com is the sponsor. Peace out. Pew, 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 pew.